Now, after some of us spoke out against this frankly scandalous documentary and scandalous misuse of working class people's money, he went on the rampage, very contrived and fake, I felt. One of those videos, where that people rant into the phone on portrait mode in their car as if they're so angry they've just got to do it now. Just got to, he couldn't get out of his lovely brand new car and walk into his £1 million mansion to do it on his webcam. No, he had to do it from the front seat of his car. Yes, it looks very good and everyone thinks it's very authentic, but those of us who are a bit more switched on see exactly what you're really doing. And this rant against me and Laura Towler and others was absolutely sickening. And he then went on to do another rant a day or so later, because this all seems to be getting under his skin. And it's not really me or Laura that's getting under his skin. It's the fact thousands of people are leaving comments on his videos saying, this isn't on. We didn't sign up to the TR movement to make documentaries about men who went to live in France and died of heart attacks. We should make a small point. This is something that I'm going to read out here, and you can follow the links yourself. This is publicly available. It's on the Daily Mail website. When I initially made the tweet, which kicked some of this off, and I was and still am genuinely appalled about this documentary being made. I mean, the thing is, Laura Towler, she is an absolute gem. Now, Laura Towler came to me and said, we need to make I want to do a survey on whether people want this mass immigration, whether they want this demographic change. And I said, well, that's a great idea, but rather than paying a surveying group, why don't we do the surveying ourselves and document it and do it all ourselves? Well, we did that. And we turned that out in a matter of weeks, with about 50 people helping to collect the data and the information. Now, what has to be said there is people were very generous and they donated to us, but we kept costs very low. I bought all the, I did the design myself for the surveys. I paid for the yellow vests. I got them printed. And then we went out and activists paid for their own petrol, etc. And we had that documentary turned out on a shoestring. It made a small financial loss that was covered by myself and Laura, and also the activists who gave their own time and petrol. And the documentary was out in a matter of months, and you can see it on Laura's channel. It's phenomenal. And that was done on a shoestring where people made a small loss. When I say a small loss, I probably less than £100. So we're not talking about anything that needs to be worried about here. It's nothing like, we didn't put tens of thousands into it. People weren't paying for hotel rooms or fillet steaks at restaurants for expenses. It was all for a great cause. And Tommy has made this documentary with huge amounts of funding. Now, when I made my initial tweet, and I will read you my tweet, I'm just trying to find it actually. Now, let me just scroll down. Sorry about this. Usually I'm slightly more organized. Usually I have it right in front of me. Here it is. The TR movement raised millions in donations from working class folk, largely over concerns for the tens of thousands of English girls who were groomed and sexually abused. This is what those donations were squandered on. What a complete and utter disgrace. So I think that is pretty much fair commentary. Now, one thing that Tommy ranted about in his little rant, or one of his little rants on me, was that he said he was like acting as if he was shocked. Millions. Well, I read this from the Daily Mail. Tommy Robinson says he expects to be sent back to jail for contempt next week, as it emerges he scooped a massive payday in public donations when he was locked up. Now, the Daily Mail has said that his ex-assistant has revealed he received in excess of $2 million in public donations following his arrest for contempt of court. Now, I'm going to place that in the chat now. So another one of his little claims is, what about these millions? Where was all these, where were all these, millions that people are talking about? Well, here are the millions. The link is in the chat there. If you just Google Tommy Robinson donations, Daily Mail, it all comes up. that's a huge sum of money. And I just want to put this into perspective. I'm not going to hog this from Dion. I'm just going to pass it over to her. When the British National Party was at its height in 2009, the British National Party took just over £2 million in donations in a major election cycle, a European election. So there's a major national election going on, and it was a nationwide political party, and it took just over 2 million in donations. Now, at the time, I think it had between 20 and 30 full and part-time staff and ran an entire political party that took around, whether it was just over or just under, it was around 1 million votes at that European election. And that was £2 million. Now, look at what Tommy's 2 million has gone on. Has he built a nationwide organization with dozens of employees? Has he garnered 1 million votes? No. Where's it all gone? And he acts with absolute shock and horror as if he hasn't been getting those donations. Yet I have just posted into the chat proof that he is in fact been taking those donations, but where has it gone? Because the only thing that's come out of this is this documentary. This documentary, which has nothing to do with the people that donated it or the issues that the people who donated it care about. Anyway, I'm just passing it back over to you now, Dion.
Great. So the next section is called Funding of the Movement. The Middle East Forum acknowledged that it spent £47,000 on Tommy Robinson's legal fees and demonstrations. US billionaire Robert Shulman financed a fellowship which funded Tommy Robinson's employment at Rebel Media, and he was paid around £5,000 a month, and that was in 2017. You've got to keep... I think people should go over this video again and look at the dates and try and put them back together, because I've already told you what he was doing in 2017. Whilst he was earning £5,000 a month from Rebel Media, he was also asking people for donations in 2017. So you've got to kind of go a little bit back and forward and put these dates together and see what Tommy Robinson was doing at these times. So also, Tommy Robinson is defended in the press by the Gatestone Institute and the David Horowitz Freedom Center. I don't need to say to many of the people in the chat to just look at these organizations and research what they are and what they stand for.
And he's angry. He's angry that people are seeing through him. He's angry that people like Dion and Shazia and many other very talented people who would be a backbone of his movement, the backbone, people who actually have brains, not people who want to go to London and get smashed on the megabus on the way down, chant Tommy, Tommy, and then get into a punch-up at a pub and miss the last bus home. The good people, they're the ones who are leaving. And he's angry. He's angry about that.